A long time ago, in a land far away, a young American pilot had just stepped out of the shower. He wrapped his towel around his waist and he lathered up his hands to shave, put it on his face, whipped out his razor, and just as he was about to make his first shave, the alarms went off. The Japanese were coming. The American pilot dropped his razor and turned to a British officer who was standing at a sink next to him and said, "I'll be right back." And he tore out of that room, just wearing his bath towel, shaving cream on his face. He ran down the airfield to his plane, and he jumped in a P-40 Flying Tiger fighter plane. Now, if you don't know anything about World War II, you might not know what a P-40 is, but I know you've seen a picture of those World War II planes with the big red nose and the shark teeth on the side. Well, those were the Flying Tigers. And the Flying Tigers were a group of American volunteers who were fighting the Japanese in China before America entered World War II. Well, this young pilot jumped into his plane, he put on his oxygen tank, he strapped in, had his parachute on and his bath towel, and he taxied down the runway, took off with some of his comrades, and went up to intercept the Japanese. The British officer who ended up writing down this story said that when the guy came back in, he had landed, came in, said, "Shot down 2 Japs," but he was acting kind of disappointed, and the guy's like, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Well, my soap dried," and he had to wash his face off and start to shave all over again. And I love this story because it captures the courage and the bravery, maybe even the recklessness of these volunteer fighter pilots who characterize the Flying Tigers. As a little boy, I read books about these guys, and they were just my heroes. These were men who had resigned from positions in the Air Force, the Air Corps or the Navy in the U.S. Armed Forces, and had come to Japan to defend the Chinese cities against the merciless bombing raids of the Japanese. And while they were extremely successful, and while their tactics were very unorthodox, these guys had hearts that said, "We don't care how bad it is, we don't care what the odds are, we're gonna do the right thing. We're gonna step up and we're gonna take to the skies, even if I'm only wearing a bath towel, even if I've got shaving cream on my face." And that's what this world needs today. Man, things are crazy. And right now it feels like things are just a little calmer, but we know how crazy things can get again. And what God is doing is he's looking across the world right now for more volunteers. And his mission is so much bigger than trying to save cities from bombers. If you've been watching the news and just paying attention in the last couple of months, you can see the darkness. You can feel the hatred. You can see the intolerance and the tension. And a lot of people are afraid because they're realizing that, like, my job isn't secure, and my bank account isn't secure, and my health isn't secure. And that's a great opportunity, because for the first time in our generation, we're coming face to face with the reality that all the things that we depend on for our security, they're like ropes of sand. And that's an opportunity because we know as Christians that the only thing we can really depend on is Jesus. And right now the world needs to hear that, because the world is reeling with the riots and the COVID and the pandemics and the politicians. They're saying, okay, where is security? And you know what? The Republicans are saying, we've got it. And the Democrats are saying, we've got it. And Black Lives Matter is saying, we've got it. And the NRA is saying, we've got it. And everyone is saying, come to me and I'll give you peace. I'll give you protection. I'll give you security. But it doesn't take a genius to realize that they can't fulfill their promises. I mean, how things went down this year and how crazy it's been, the fires in Australia, it's our world is literally starting to fall apart. And while that seems scary, it's an opportunity for us to look up and see Jesus and say, all right, Jesus, you've got this. We've got Bible stories where things were way worse than they are today. And God stepped in. He parted the Red Sea. He sent his angel to destroy armies. He did amazing things, and he can do that again. In fact, I believe he will do that again. But in the meantime, Jesus is looking for some flying tigers. He's looking for some people who are willing to say, God, I'm in. I'm not wearing my flight suit, just got a bath towel, but I'm in. Haven't fixed my hair, don't look like I'm perfect, I'm a shaving cream, but I'm in. You see, what I love about the Flying Tigers is that these guys weren't perfect pilots. They didn't have the best uniforms. They for sure didn't have the best equipment. They didn't have the best ground crews. I mean, their ground crews were amazing, but their ground crews didn't have the best tools. They didn't have the best supplies. I mean, there's stories of bombing raids happening. Okay, bombs are falling, and a Flying Tiger will land his plane because he needs more fuel, he needs more ammunition, he needs more oxygen, and his ground crew literally jumps out of slit trenches, which are just like deep ditches they were hiding in. They'll jump out, run out there, gas up the planes, fill up the ammunition, give the pilot whatever he needs, repair whatever they can while the Japanese are attacking to get that plane back up in the air. That's the kind of attitude that Jesus needs. That's what he's looking for. Now, I don't know where you are and what your society or your state is saying about meeting together for church, but man, ever since March, most of the churches in America haven't been meeting together. We've been doing Facebook stuff, there's been online things, but as a whole, churches just aren't meeting, and America has literally started to fall apart. Okay, and I think that this is, I know this is the strategy of evil. Divide and conquer. It's happened over and over and over again. And right now, we are not meeting together. Okay? And I just want to challenge you to start your own churches. Okay? If you can't meet with your normal church, like my church, we are not open yet. Okay, so this Sabbath, a couple of families, we're going to get together at a park next to a lake, and we're going to have a little bit of a church service together. All right, maybe you can't do that. Maybe that's too many people, but get with someone. Get on FaceTime. Find other believers and worship together. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to have a great sermon. You don't have to have a great worship talk. You don't have to have great musicians. All that stuff is great, but what worship is, it's just focusing on God. So maybe you can get with your neighbors and say, hey, let's have church. Maybe they don't worship on the same day as you. That doesn't matter. Don't make them worship on your day. Just like, hey, let's get together on Wednesday night and let's just read our Bible and pray together. All right? It doesn't have to be a program. It doesn't have to be something that you're recording and sharing with the world. You don't have to be in a suit. You can be in a bath towel. Okay, I'm not being literal there. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be focused on Jesus. Because what you need, what I need, what our country needs is for believers to come together. Because if we just do this solo Christian thing on our own, watching a YouTube video every now and then, it doesn't strengthen our faith. The Bible says we overcome him by the blood of Jesus and the word of our testimony. So we've got to get together with other believers and start sharing words, okay? We got to start sharing our testimony. Guess what Jesus did for me the other day? Look what I just learned in the Bible today. Okay? And you don't have to be with someone from your church. You don't have to agree on everything. You just have to agree on we're going to focus on Jesus. Hey, what is God doing in your life? I can ask that to a Catholic or to a Baptist or to an Adventist, and they'll have a great answer for me. I know today's a little bit longer than normal, and I'm sorry if I'm going too long, but I just really feel passionate that we have got to start worshiping together. Even in our small groups. I'm not saying break the law. I'm not saying do dangerous things with the COVID or whatever. I'm just saying we've got to start meeting with people. We've got to start because we need each other. I don't know what the rest of 2020 is going to hold, but if the last half of 2020 is going to be like the first half, we need to be ready. We need to be like those flying tigers who are like, in a moment's notice, I'm in. Jesus, where do you want to send me? Where do I need to go? What do I need to say? I'll do it. You see that pilot, he went up and he shot down 2 planes. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And he wasn't wearing the right stuff. He hadn't prepared the right way. He didn't do a visualization before taking, he just jumped in. And that's what God's looking for today. He's looking for Christians who are willing to jump in. Because he's got jobs that are bigger than anything. He's asked me to do this job, to talk to you this morning. He's asked you to do another job. He just needs willing people. So today, I challenge you with me right now. Just say, Lord, I'm yours. I'm your volunteer. You need a flying tiger? Here's one right here. I'll go where you want me to go. I'll say what you want me to say. I'll worship with people that you bring into my life. But I'm yours. I'm yours. God bless, and if you feel like someone needs to hear this message, please share it. I know that evil is out there, but our God is bigger. In this world, you will have trouble, but take heart. Jesus has overcome the world. God bless.